So I've been playing around with different language models, the large language models or LLMs, and have been learning a lot of these things. So I wanted to share with you some of my insights from my deep dive into the large language model, and just talk. This will be a very practical session, and I will just tell you some of the tools and tips and tricks. Some of them may have been obvious to you and some not. So we will play around with ChatGPT. I'll show you the both paid model and the free version, and then we will also quickly look at the Claude and Bing and some of the other publicly available LLMs. Of course, there's a science of LLM that I will not go too deep into, and I will focus just on the practical use and reality. So this is ChatGPT, which is one of the most famous language model, which really broke the whole scene publicly. And you can sign up for it. There has a free account and then there's a paid account. So let me log in to my account to show you some of the tips that I'm doing. So I'm gonna log in with username and password. Of course, you can sign up for free and get a free account. Now, when I log into my account, this is already switching to GPT-4, which is only available to paid subscribers. And the default for unpaid will be GPT 3.5, which is much faster. But because it has a lower training data, it is for reasoning tasks, for complex tasks, it is not as smart as GPT-4. GPT-4, you get access to some specific amount of token usage. So currently it is capped at 50 messages every 3 hours or so. So it is not exactly tokens, because a token is basically four characteristics. So which is about average English language is about 5 or 6 characters. So it's about 3/4 of a word length long. But this is not based on tokens, so a message could be very long and the answer could be very long, although it seems to default to a certain answer length. So GPT 3.5 is what is generally available. I'm not sure if it's available. These are some of the pre-designed prompts that are available there to give you an idea of how to use GPT. I'm not sure if it's available in a free account or not. And of course, I'm seeing GPT Plus written here, which means that I have access to GPT-4 and other tools that go along with it. So, and on the left side is my history of different conversations I've done with it, and it is organized month by month in a descending order. So, what I want to start with highlighting is the art of contextual prompting. So, what is contextual prompting? So, I'm going to stick with 3.5 for this particular reason. I'll say that if you give it something, so write a tweet for me about use cases of Chat GPT, and so this will create a tweet that you can use in ChatGPT, right? But you did not give him any context or information on who your tweet is about and who are you, right? So it does say what the tweet should be about, but even that is limited. So you can expand a little bit more. That write a tweet about use cases of Chat GPT in medical education, right? So now you're improving what it should write about, which is just one part of a good prompt, right? So now it changed what it wants to say and generated the tweet. But you can do it even better. So say, write a tweet about use cases of chat gpt in medical education. And now before or after, you can say, let me start doing before. You are a neurologist in academic university program and medical educator, and write a tweet. So now you gave him a context of what is your style, who you should be, what he should try to copy. So you're saying that I'm a neurologist, I'm an academic university program faculty, I'm a medical educator, and now write a tweet about use cases of ChatGPT in medical education. And now the results will be more interesting and more relevant to your style. Right now, you can go even more detail and say who you want the audience to be. So, right, you're a neurologist in academic faculty, you're a medical educator, and you want him to write a tweet about use cases of ChatGPT medical education, and make it for audience of other medical educator who are faculty in medical universities. Right? Now you also defined the audience. Now context is building. You're trying to tell him that who you are, what the tweet should be, what he should do, and what should it be about, and who is the target audience. And then you can even do it more where you can say that medical university and make it more appealing and catching, and right. So now you're saying that you how the tweet should read, how it should be, although it is already trying a good job of trying to make it catchy and appealing, but you can specifically ask him to make more effort there. Now you can read the tweet, and if you don't read the tweet, you can change the whole. You say, okay, take the above tweet, you generate it, and rewrite it in a more comic, in a more humorous style. So make it more funny, right? And now you have also added a fifth layer of context where you are also impacting on its writing style. Now I could have just added this to the original prompt. So I could have taken this first prompt, which have context of who I am, what he should do, and who's the target audience, and what the goal is, making it more appealing, catching, and then you can also add right here what the style should be. So the more information and details you provide to this, to ChatGPT, then better the results to what you want it to do. So this is what is contextual prompting, and you can make context as complicated in the details as you want. I have a separate post just on contextual prompting. One thing that GPT paid version allows is to build a constant context within the ChatGPT. So now I'm going to switch to ChatGPT 4. And what ChatGPT 4 is now going to do is take a context about me that I have fed it into it. And how do you do that? You do it through customization. So you go to custom instructions, and here you say, what would you like ChatGPT to know about you? So who you are. Now I've given enough great details on who I am, what my role is, what I've done so far, what is my brief bio, and it will always keep that in mind, but it will generate these answers. And then it also asks you, how would you like ChatGPT to respond? And here you can define the writing style, you can define the audience, you can define your goals. A lot of things that I was doing, it has already been defined, right? And it is enabled for new chats. So I will now in GPT-4 ask him the same question without giving any context because the context already built in. So I'll say, write a tweet about use cases for ChatGPT in medical education. And now it already has context about who I am and already has context about how it should complete the task or who the audience should be. And now the generation is much slower because it is thinking a lot more. It has a lot more pathways to go through because the model is so much bigger when it is being doing and it is creating. But whenever you set tweet, it will always give you a length of the answer which is in one tweet, right? Now you can say write a tweet thread, maybe it will go bigger, or you can ask it make a LinkedIn post which is a longer space. So right now it is limiting itself to the number of characters, okay? And it is also giving me an option to put my link here for my LinkedIn or things like that because its customization tells him that my goal of tweeting is to gather more audience or have more network on my LinkedIn. So it is giving me that automatically option here to provide my LinkedIn link here so that people can link with me and connect with me on my Substack or my LinkedIn. So now you can say create a longer tweet thread. And now it will go beyond that one tweet limit that it is automatically setting on itself. And now it will create a tweet thread and it will say, okay, this is tweet one, this will be tweet two. And if you have a paid Twitter account, then you can just go through a thread and create a whole tweet thread, right? And of course, you don't have to use it as it is copy paste because you still should be working on it and editing it and customizing it to your style, keeping what you think is valuable and relevant to your audience and not using anything else. Now, this can be done for many other things. As I mentioned, I'll stop generating. You create LinkedIn posts through it. Well, the way I like to do it is that I write what I think is valuable information to share, but I write it as if I'm just dumping my idea. So I'll see if I have a LinkedIn post to show you. So, and then I just ask it, okay, take this information that I've given you and create a LinkedIn post out of it, right? So this is my write-up. So I said, kindly make a post with a catchy title for LinkedIn using the following information. This following information is written by me. These are my thoughts or ideas that I want to share across. I'm not saying ChatGPT, give me an idea, although it can do it, right? If you go to a new chat, the first thing that pops up is says, hey, give me an idea, recommend a dish, explain this, or things like that, right? It can do it. But that is not as appealing because it is just randomly picking something out of the hat. And you know your audience, you know yourself, you know what you're trying to say. So think what you want to say, write it down in a very crude fashion, just dump it, shorthand notes, whatever you want, bullet points, and then give it to ChatGPT and say, hey, can you create a good note out of it? So this is one thing I wanted to share, the contextual prompting. I will do some more ideas around the same concept of how to use ChatGPT in future posts where I would talk about the other ChatGPTs, or shouldn't call them ChatGPTs, other GPTs, in such as Claude and Bing, and how they stack against each other. And I will then also tell you some tips on how to use in medical education that I have been doing. As you can see on the left hand side, I've been really busy doing a lot of these things, and some of these things I really like, and I will show them in the future videos.